At 7 o'clock, we might as well come to order and get started. You've already got the roll, we've already done the pledge. Comments from citizens. Any citizens would like to comment? Seeing none, we will move on. Public Works, we have an activity report in our agenda, or in our packet, whatever. Anybody have any questions or comments on the activity report for Public Works?
It might be in here, I haven't read it. How did the citywide cleanup turn out?
Very slow. It's down in there somewhere. We only had 50, just a little over 54 ton.
Which is a little bit more than last year.
Was it really? We didn't figure it'd be any more than last year. No, it was really slow.
How'd the kids out at the Head Start like the new backhoe?
Oh yeah, they liked it. They liked all the equipment. Yep. It was pretty neat.
Okay. Next, we have streets. We have asphalt bids in our packet.
Yeah, when I opened up the bids and were pleasantly surprised.
You held the best for last, which is surprising.
Yeah. And APAC was our low bidder, and
Is that down from last year?
yes,
Considerably. The last time it was, what,
2 years ago.
well, yeah, we didn't do it last year.
Okay.
It was 78.50?
Yeah, 78 or 77, something like that.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, we're
All right. Looks like it. I guess we could have a motion for to accept APAC's bid. I assume that's the one we want.
I'll make a
Oh,
motion.
yes, staff recommended.
yeah.
I have some comments after you finish.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept APAC's bid for $68.10 a ton for asphalt paving.
All right.
I'll second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, that, ordinarily, last couple of years we've done, overlay. It's been done late summer, we get the bills in October, and that's how we budgeted. I think APEC has indicated, Phil, they might wanna do it a little bit earlier rather than later. This price is so good, you're not gonna see it again.
Yeah.
And so I wanna do the fullest what we were looking, and if we stay within the old target I've been thinking about 170, if the tonnage is running right, we might pick up a couple of short streets,
Okay.
maybe even Spalding,
It don't bother me.
but it needs it.
But
Yeah. No,
but if it holds out, we'll be able to do about 3 or 4 little streets. Pick up. We're kind of looking at some bad areas and just see what
We're
we
still
can.
working off last year's list.
Yeah,
Okay.
what we're looking at, Mitchell, Clayton, Porter, Ash, Westlake, North Allen, the whole thing, everything north of the tracks until you get to the concrete. Southgate, 2 blocks over by Centralia Apartments, Sappington, all of it. Columbia Street from Bruton down to Lakeview.
Okay.
It's not cracked too bad, but it's,
Yeah.
Waiting.
s- a little 1 block section of Sneed Street down at the corner. Again, if we have the available tonnage, Spalding and maybe Harburton.
Okay.
Now, if we do that and we do it early, we're likely to get the bill earlier, which means that the county grant will come through, and we might for a month be in a deficit in that fund that will be covered by the general fund, but I probably don't want to do the formal accounting for it. It'll still be covered, we won't
Right.
be negative bank account, but as far as that particular fund, and then we'll have 6 more months in the fiscal year.
Right.
I do want to maximize what we can do for,
Well,
Oh, yeah.
this
price, I
price
would
is
say yes.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Got that, James?
This price is phenomenal, he said, pounding his shoe on the desk.
It
okay.
is.
Yeah, very, very good.
It's like 15% was what it was 2 years ago.
All right, next up, we have bids for replacing the vibratory plate compactor from New Way and Carter Waters. D-Way is a low bidder by $30.
It's exact same machine, so I mean, it's apples to apples. It's just the one we've got, it's over 20 years old, and sometimes it's not quite hitting like it should, and we've had to go down on us numerous times, and I've actually had it completely gone through years ago. It's just wore out.
Where
Rock,
are these,
that's not quite so bad, but when you get out there with the asphalt,
Yeah,
that's really bad.
we've had it quit on us when we've got a load of hot mix sitting there, so.
where are these companies located?
Carter Waters is in Columbia and New Way's in Jeff City.
Yeah, so both relatively close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's a-
So, yeah, the low bid's fine, it's the exact same machine.
Okay.
All right, do I hear a motion to accept the bid on this,
Make a motion to accept
the Dewey bid?
the new bid.
Second.
All right. Got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
Got
you
this
very much.
back, come back there. All right. Any other on the streets? Okay.
Phil, you might go talk to, Hook, I can't think of his name.
Oh, I know you're talking about, yeah.
He was complaining his yard was about, which way does
I-
that water drain?
He has an inlet right there in the corner. It all comes around and goes right in that inlet right there by, I've called him several times and he never returned a call. We've checked it when he called in and we've never, they've seen a water problem there, so I don't know when it
He
was.
said that last big rain, his whole backyard was flooded.
Hey, everybody in Centralia was flooded there.
But, I mean, I've called him, left him some messages, and, we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it could just been simple leaves blocking a culvert or
There
something.
could have been, I don't know. I didn't know which way it went from there.
Yeah, but both them alleys, they come around, and, that alley culvert sloped, I mean, he was worried about S&D, but most of that was already filled in anyhow. And, he just went ahead and filled it in, and, because it was all just surface drains to that inlet on his corner. So he really didn't affect anything over on the other side. But we'll check that out and just keep an eye on it.
All right, next up, the electric department. No, next up is sanitation. Anything on sanitation?
No, like I say, clean was slow and,
Great.
The grinder?
oh yeah, tub grinder, we're gonna have the brush pick, hopefully this week.
Okay,
Yeah, he called me and, no, nothing happens, I'm gonna come in, we'll get that ground up, hopefully end of the week.
sounds good.
We need space.
Yeah. It's full.
What's he do with all that stuff after he grinds it up?
We're gonna have a big pile of mulch. So come and get some.
Bigger pile.
Yeah, an even bigger pile.
How old is the existing pile?
It's probably close to 2 years.
Yeah, most of that was from 2 years ago.
Yeah,
There wasn't much there when they did that 2 years ago.
yeah. And we've gotten rid of all of that first time, so yeah, it's probably close to a couple years old. It's some pretty good stuff. We've gotten rid of quite a bit of it here lately.
Next up, storm sewer.
No, we've had
What we talked about?
our street sweeper out, we cleaned out a lot of inlets, all of them around town, just all the leaves from last year, we're still laying around stopping everything up, and we've used Mike's sewer machine and been flushing the heck out of things lately.
All right. Well, I know that Mike Coleman and I took care of our street. And got those, they were all full of leaves. Every one of them was backed up, we got it flowing again. I know that it happened in other neighborhoods.
It's been constant, I'm hoping everybody gets a mulch or burn
You're
or
not putting me
something.
on paper? I'm gonna turn in overtime for that.
We got a call out for that?
Right.
Yeah.
You recall that we had a constituent at the previous meeting complaining that we didn't clean ditches and we didn't sweep streets often enough, and I got a note last Friday, I guess, from Phyllis took it, from the same constituent saying, well, we're not doing any good, just sweeping the middle of the streets.
We're supposed to sweep the ditches?
I don't know how.
Okay.
Okay, but we did try to respond to the constituent.
Thank you, appreciate that.
All
Thank
right.
you for your efforts.
Any other on public works? All right, electric department. We have an activity report in our packet. Anybody have any questions or comments on the activity report?
Guess they got that tree cut down, or?
I guess so, yeah. Got it cleared and everything put back up.
Look, quite a little outage we had
Right.
So
That
did
was all
you
caused
get
by
lots of
trees.
calls?
there.
Yeah, and a few calls, a lot of people stopping.
I think they have pretty much 3 people answering phones in the police
Yeah, they
department
were
for
taking a
all
lot of
12
calls.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was just kind of unfortunate timing, but it was caused by a tree.
And it wasn't us.
No, it wasn't us, it was
I only called once.
a transmission line between Moberly and Centralia. And their other feed that they could have brought us from Mexico was down for maintenance. So,
Unfortunate
kind
timing.
of 2 things at once kind of hit there. Or,
Unfortunate timing.
yeah, exactly.
I lost power and then it came back
Yeah.
for a short period of time.
About an hour, and then they really didn't have enough to keep us
Oh,
on.
is that what it was?
Yep. So they wanted to switch some things around.
I was kind of
So
glad
then
we
we lost
backed
it.
off because all my
Because
family.
about a third of the town came on.
We
Yeah.
we were watching TV last night, we were watching this one show, and Liz says, did we miss one?
Yeah.
And she said, oh yeah, power was out.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
I think we were watching Once Upon a Time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The DVR doesn't work when you don't power it.
No.
You'll have to go
Didn't
on
record or
the
anything, did it?
internet and
Missed them all.
Yeah.
pay for it to be downloaded to your computer.
So,
We watched that one pretty much.
so anyway, next up, miscellaneous supply purchases.
I'm in the process of getting some bids, should have for you by the regular board meeting. And it'll just be for some conduit and wire and things for the projects we got coming up later this year. So, I don't have any prices for you tonight, just wanted to mention that they will be forthcoming.
Okay. Sounds good. Any other under electric department?
I will mention also, one of those bids will probably be for some more decorative street light poles and fixtures.
I see there's one down
Yeah,
Lakeview that
there's-
seems to be missing.
Yeah, and we don't have anything to replace it with. So, last year, we thought, well, we'll get 5 or 6 or whatever. We knew we needed a couple at that time. Well, it wasn't that much later by the time we had a couple more knocked down that weren't expected, so.
Take one down from Clifford and put down there. Or the building takes it
Yeah,
down.
I don't need one on Railroad
So-
Street.
So I see they did a little bit of damage to the house down there,
Yeah.
second
yeah.
house down there.
Right.
What happened? They,
It was an auto accident, I think, the guy had a seizure.
yeah, but that's a long ways to drive, driving somebody's
Yeah.
house after they drove off.
Yeah, he had a seizure, I believe.
Is that what it was?
And
Wow.
hit the light in the house and then finally stopped in Tainer's front yard.
Yeah. The police department said that nobody was living in the house at the time, so that's fortunate.
Right.
It's one of Thomas.
But the garage wall was kind of leaning out a little bit.
Fortunate
Yeah, I mentioned the
school
garage
was,
door doesn't operate.
I would suspect not.
then about a half hour later, school kids could have been there too, that could have been
Yeah.
tragic.
It's been ugly.
So, okay,
So I got.
all right. Water and sewer department, we have an activity report in our packet up again. Any questions or comments on the activity report? Next up, manhole rehabilitation.
We've got one price in on getting that manhole hid in Howard Burton Drive, repaired, and it's pretty high. I'm going to a conference Wednesday, and I've got a couple, I talked to Missouri Rural Water people, and they've got a couple, maybe avenues to get some more prices. It's high enough, I think we need to check a couple other,
Well,
so,
I kind of looked at it and wondered if it wouldn't be almost as smart to replace it at that price.
You do not want to dig that manhole up.
Well,
I've been there when we went in. It's-
yeah, that's the reason they had to do the last one, because it did collapse and stuff, so. Yeah, we need to do that one in place. There's 4 lines going into that, 2 drops,
okay,
so it would definitely be one that,
and that's in the intersection itself, right?
yeah.
And it's down about as tall as that roof is, that ceiling, right? Just about. Took a very tall ladder to get down there.
Okay, well, that's, not quite as bad a price then, but still, it's,
Yeah, and we backfilled with gravel, and I don't think it'd be very stable now. You'd be end up repaving the whole intersection.
I'm sure you would. If it was backfilled with gravel, which it probably should have been. Mix a little saccharin with that gravel.
How long is this big dip for?
Pardon?
How long is this big dip for?
30 days on that. I've talked to him and told him it may be a little longer. He had a little trouble getting it to us, so he said he'd work with us on it.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a matter, if that would end up being the bid, they're still gonna try to work it as a schedule when they're in town or working in Columbia, so they can get some of that travel expense off there.
Okay. All right, well, we'll see where it takes us then.
I will get that and then it'll be on the last meeting for y'all.
All right. Next up, farmers irrigation pivot repairs.
The farmers are coming around with some fairly extensive repairs, replacements they like to do on the pivots. They're probably justified. It's going to be my job and Mike's to kind of pare it back to what our budget can handle and do it over 2 or 3 years. Mostly we're talking about orders for gearboxes. And when we've decided how many we can afford and what else we need to put into the package, we'll have a good price for you. The farmers is suggesting that if we buy them, at least a couple of the farmers are, if we buy them, then they'll do the installation, save us the labor, so.
Sounds good.
That's not a bad deal.
Yep.
And, you know, this stuff is now going, 28 years,
Wow.
so.
Got our money's
It's
worth
more
out.
than just tires and down drops, we're getting into more substantial things.
Gear drives, final drives, motor for those drives and everything are needing some work. One of the suppliers has offered that if we buy 25 of the final drives, and from what the farmers have all told us they need, we're gonna need at least that many. They'll wipe the shipping off of it, which is pretty considerable.
Yeah.
Those things are about 100 pounds a piece, so
Oh, wow.
it's gonna add up, so there is a little help coming there.
Mhm.
And with them doing the work, we got a good bunch.
Maintenance has got to be done on it.
Yeah, and we got a good bunch of farmers who are pretty good about doing that, so.
And we're going on now past 3 years without a discharge. We're
Yeah.
Not real close.
So about 3.5 years. Yes.
We do need to keep the farmers happy. And come the 1st of January, it'll be the 10-year cycle, will be time for a new contract. I'll try to have most of that locked up in the next couple of months before I'm out of here, so. It may not be time to actually pass an ordinance to write the contract, but we'll be cleaning up language with the farmers on it. It should be simpler than in past years, we're not making substantive changes.
They were nice enough to work with us as far as kind of what they would like to see within the next 3 years too, which kind of helps us know what we're looking at, so.
Yeah, and they've put irrigation on at times that they didn't have to help us draw down.
Of course, they've also been crying for more water on a couple of occasions, too,
Yeah.
which is fortunate for us, but for them.
Right now, we're in good shape. Northwest Lagoon's actually empty as far as the second cell. Northeast, we're probably 3/4 down, and everybody's pretty much to a springtime fill point right now.
Okay.
We'll top everybody off when it gets probably the end of this month, get rid of irrigation. Any water we're getting on top of that's just what we can send them, but we're sitting pretty good right now.
And we really haven't had to use the overland flow that much because of the drought. We just enough to keep the grass growing.
That's what I was gonna say, we usually enough to keep the grass growing. Sounds good. All right, any other under water and sewer? Any other?
Well, after the election, we have 2 new aldermen, and traditionally, we offer you an opportunity for a guided tour around the city facilities. I it's always an eye-opener to new aldermen to realize how far-flung some of the stuff is and what we have to work with and what's really going on. And sometimes it's hard to visualize, particularly the utility reports, without doing that. So, if you have a time during the day that you can spare about 2.5 or 3 hours, we can give you tours with the employees that are working. If that doesn't happen, we can do it on a Saturday, and I'll ask the department heads to come in.
I'm free after the 24th of May, pretty much, so.
Yeah, there's nothing, that you have to hurry about getting to this, it's just, it's well worth, seeing though.
Yeah.
It just takes time to drive out to the farmers' ponds and pumps, but nothing else.
I feel like I've been there once when I was a kid, maybe.
But you get to see the water aspect of it, you
Yeah.
know, it gets, goes to the towers, and then you get to see the wastewater aspect of it that goes up.
Yeah.
Hopefully you did that before the turnover in the spring.
Yeah.
I saw it, that happened yesterday.
Oh, okay, well, it'll be cleaned up by then.
So, won't be so bad. All right, sounds good.
All right.
As may arise. Anybody? Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
20 minutes.